G'day guys. We are back. Episode
42.
42.
Yep.
Yeah. Up there. It's really good. Tonight we have cinematography, art, film, and the whole lot. We have Charlie and Tyler joining us for a conversation. Short films and stuff. So, how you guys going? It's very nice to meet you girls.
Yeah, not too bad. Nice to meet you guys. Yeah, pretty, just a little bit nervous, but we'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah, the girls are very nervous tonight.
Yeah, film kids always go behind the camera usually. Yeah, no, thank you for having us. Really pumped.
We're doing a fundraiser.
Yes. Okay. So. All right, so we are currently in the production phase of our short film Deep Blue, and we are raising some money in order to make this production best that it can be. It's at Badlands. It's a night of classics. There'll be some bangers, some 70s songs, 80s songs, all covers of everyone's favorite songs.
Okay, I actually can't wait. I'm
I know,
so excited.
It's gonna be fun. If you want to party with us, we'll be there. It's $10 online, $15 at the door, and all proceeds go directly to the funding of the film.
And
so
we've got an awesome DJ playing as well.
we've got
Thank
a great
you.
DJ.
Yeah, Alex, explain to us with the DJing part of it.
Oh God, do I have to? You're gonna make me embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. Okay, so I'm gonna be DJing in between the bands, and I can't wait. I've also managed to make a little mix as well as a little promo mix for tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah, I actually just wanted to tell you now, Mitch, so I can try and
What?
It's
Try and
good.
make me surprised.
Well, it's only
That's never gonna happen.
no.
Like, ready? Watch. I'll sip my wine for you in front of camera.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're doing a fundraiser tomorrow. It's gonna be a lot of fun playing in between the bands and DJing for an hour, 2
Yeah.
hours at the end.
Wrapping things up for
Yeah,
us.
it should be good. Should be exciting. And it's just 60s to 90s, right? Or 60s to 80s. So
Honestly,
I think it's
just
like
classics.
a mixture of things. That's why
Oh,
we
don't
went
tell me
for-
that.
I mean, it was predominantly like 70s, 80s, but we decided to just make it night of classics, so it could be classics from
Yeah.
pretty much.
Well, I just can't wait because they were
Yeah.
the best eras, 70s and
Yeah.
80s.
yeah. Well, we're glad you're excited because taken a while, but we're getting there, and it's all ready to go. And it's
And-
tomorrow.
And so it's for Deep Blue. So what is Deep Blue? Right, it's a movie that you guys are. So you're the producer
Yeah.
and the DOP,
Yeah.
and the DOP is also the cinematography, right?
Yeah, so it's just director of photography and photography.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
director of photography generally just manages like the camera and lighting.
Hey
crew.
Tyler, do you mind just moving your mic just a bit closer?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Like there.
Yeah, just so people can hear you.
Okay, sorry. you need me to repeat that or?
No.
No, just keep going from
It
where
should
you
be
were.
fine.
Okay, so yeah, DOP just basically manages the camera and lighting crew. Cinematography is pretty much the same thing. Yeah, it's
They
just,
are two words for the same. Pretty
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
Well,
it's
you were
just-
saying before it's like the American word and then the Australian word to an extent, right?
Yeah, from what I remember, which is arguably not a lot. In America, if you're on a set in America,
Mm-hmm.
the DOP is called the cinematographer. But if you're on a set in, say, the UK, then it'll be the DOP, the director of photography. Just just a little quirk of the
Imperial
industry, I
metric,
guess. Yeah.
miles,
Yeah.
kilometers.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
One of those things. So, what is Deep Blue though? So,
Can I give us a synopsis
little,
of the film?
Yeah, sure.
synopsis,
So
yeah, synopsis.
Deep Blue is a film that follows our protagonist Novak, who is a young Australian man who is diagnosed with clinical depression, and we kind of are telling his story where in his last moments he chooses to be before the rising sun, except is thrust into a position that ultimately changes his perspective on life, as he has to choose whether to save 2 lives or to lose both. And I don't want to give too much.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds
Yeah.
really good.
There's the cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
The movie's about like mental health and stuff like that.
yeah. So we just wanted to tell what we believe, because we didn't write it, but our friend wrote it, and he is through. We wanted to tell a story that explored mental health, and we want to contribute to the normalized mental health discussion.
Yeah.
Kind of use our platform.
Very
what we
noble
think is a pretty
cause.
powerful
Yeah,
story.
very noble cause. I
Yeah.
mean, not gonna lie, there is like with the nightlife industry, so many people fall into that. Like, just fall into the idea of late nights and just getting so wrapped up in that whole entire scene that they do. So a lot of them do suffer from depression to an extent. I mean, it's just like one way or another, and it's good to talk
It's
about
just
it,
a-
right?
Yeah.
It's just a result of, I think, being a creative person.
Yeah, I
We're
would
more
say.
open to like thinking deeper about things, and that can bring like nihilism and depression and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
but they do say 1 in 4 people have like some sort of depression, anxiety,
Mental health.
Yeah, I would definitely believe that.
ADD, stuff like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely think it's a noble cause, and we should definitely normalize it and start talking
Yeah, more
like it's
about
normal,
it.
because it is normal. If
Yeah.
25% of people have it, that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's a lot of people.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
Exactly.
exactly it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Deep Blue will be one of those hopefully movies that push that envelope that movie. So,
Sure.
Congratulations, girls.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
Yeah. So it goes for how long is it going to go for? Like 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
I don't know. I think
Oh,
it's more
well-
around 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of given the like under 20 mark, but I think script is about.
Mitch, can you shut the door if that's all right?
Yeah, I'll get to
Just
it.
make sure the cat stays in. Make sure Sassy stays in. But yeah, so only around 10, 20
Yeah,
minutes.
so it's, 10 to 20 minutes is generally where we try to aim for.
Mhm.
The script was fairly short, and it was
Yeah.
very descriptive as well, which kind of cut it down. But
Yeah.
yeah,
About 10 minutes.
Yeah. And so that's like the average kind of time as well for like a student film to an extent too.
I guess so. It just kind of depends on the film itself. So and the script that you're given, or
Yeah.
Yes.
the chosen script. So yeah, some scripts may end up being longer. It really depends on the script and the film.
Yeah, because it's like what we were talking about before as well. Well, Mitch said it's like for like an average 90-minute film, and you'd need like hundreds of people to be able to do it. Like how
Yeah.
how big would your crew actually be for this film?
Oh, so there is, so we say primary crew. There's like 6 people they've chosen this script, and that's the director, producer, the DOP or cinematographer, editor, sound, and then costume and set designer. Except we have a crew of 12 people, so that takes into account like our first assistant director, a production manager, continuity, props person.
Are these all
makes
students
sure-
at Curtin as well?
Yeah, these are all students. So we all have like our primary field, and then we help one of the other students' films as like one of those secondary or assistant. It's pretty hard to produce a film with 6 people.
Yeah,
And
no,
then
that,
even we generally extend that as well,
Mhm.
because definitely as like the camera crew and stuff, it's pretty hard working with only 2 people when you've got to set up the camera, all the lighting, and just making sure everything runs smoothly. So then we'll generally find like a second assistant camera and
Yeah.
a gaffer as well to help with that.
a gaffer.
So yeah, they're just generally like helping with the lights and things like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, there's generally about like 4 with camera alone. So on one of our kind of.
That's not too bad. It's all right then.
I have my production manager of one of my friends, but also a 2nd year student to kind of just keep me in the reins, make sure that everything runs smoothly. And then we have a stills photographer as well. So kind of just depends on the needs of the film, and we try to have as many people as we can working to flow and make it runs really well.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So with the time frame as well, like how long have you guys been working on it for? Like when do you reckon it'll like?
Take this.
So we pretty much started pre-production work at the beginning of the year, but then obviously COVID hit, so it kind of slowed things down a lot. I think that really impacted our script working and just getting through the script and making sure that we got through all the copies and finalized the script work before we actually moved on to like the storyboarding and just
Yeah, like putting
Yeah.
it together. Kind
yeah,
of
pretty
thing.
much putting it together. Because then after the script was done, we produced a pilot as well, which was more of a tester and
Yeah.
a test run for the film. So you could just kind of add in the tone. It was just presenting the tone of the film, the camera work, the set design, all those kind of elements.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's all right though. So then, like, because I mean, we've got the fundraiser tomorrow, so it would
Yeah.
with the movie, it will be like maybe a month, 2 months before it's like.
Okay,
like, when
so,
yeah, sorry.
We are actually no. We are filming around mid to end of September, except it's all been staggered according to the other films working at Curtin University. Like some people just wrapped up. So we were fortunate to have a few extra weeks pre-production, but then a few less weeks post.
Yeah.
So we finished the pilot, wrapped that up around July. So since then, we've kind of just been in pre-production phases. We'll kick things off in the production mid-September, and then have a few weeks, I believe around a month in post-production, and then that's when everything will be wrapped up and ready to present at Curtin Razor if it goes through because of the virus, but fingers crossed.
So I think that's around October, November that
Yeah,
happens. And
October, November.
after that, our film will be doing like a film festival run as well. So we'll be trying to enter our film into like different film festivals and try and go down that path for, I don't know, the next year or so.
Yeah.
That's still
after
pretty
that.
cool
Wow.
though, just to be able to
Yeah.
actually like, you know, keep the ball rolling and enter in different places to see where it can actually go, kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm sure it's going to be a great film. Like, and then with that,
Sure.
like, after, where would we be able to find it potentially as well? Like, would it be online or?
I think generally we look at doing the film festival run first and then it'll end up online.
Yeah, because it would be the complications of, you know,
Yeah.
being able to find it for free potentially or something.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got to go through all that first. There's a long process, and I think there's more discussion to have about that.
Yeah.
Now that we're
after
talking about
it's
the
made.
process and
Yeah.
like the fundraiser as well. So the
Uh-huh.
process after the fundraiser, what is the money going to be spent on for the
Okay.
movie? Like, where's this money going?
Yeah, sure.
And how much is it going to cost? Like,
Yeah.
we were talking about it
so-
before, obviously, with the Curtin give you a budget.
Yeah.
But obviously, you're going to need to raise up more on top of that. So,
Yeah, for sure.
do you want to explain to where the money's going to be going and spent on and stuff like that?
Yeah, of course. So we are given $1,000 by Curtin University. However, that's through reimbursement. So we are given that money at the completion of the film. So our film involves water, which means that we have some expensive equipment that we would love and we want to use. And so that alone is 750, like close to $1,000. And then on top of that, there are a lot of things behind the scenes in films that I guess even I honestly wouldn't have accounted for once upon a time, like catering. You've got to make sure everybody is fed. Different location costs, if there are any. You have to pay certain councils to use the property, or
I was just about to ask that,
yeah,
actually.
or place down deposits for like security in case anything is damaged, and then they get that money. So yeah, there's a lot behind the scenes that we and all of the films have to have that money for. However, the main thing that this fundraiser is really being organized to raise the money for is that camera equipment, because we got to have that for the production, which is in September. And then also inevitably a lot of that money will go towards the film festival entries, because there is a lot of costs surrounding different entries. I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, there are some costs usually involved.
Really? To actually enter into film festivals?
Yeah, I've got to
had no
admit,
idea.
I'm not
Yeah,
as
they don't make it easy.
knowledgeable.
I thought it'd be all not voluntary, but it'd be like, applicants, and if you're the best of the lot, then you'd go through. But
You'd
Some are like
think,
that.
think.
Competitions are like that, but
Yeah.
film festivals not so much.
would like the Sundance Film Festival used to be something like that? And what's the other really big one that's in
there's a
Australia? The
couple.
Cannes Festival?
There's like
Those sorts of festivals, people
Cannes.
pay lots of money to get into.
Really?
Yeah.
Like tens of thousands
Flick
of dollars.
No
Fest.
shit. I
Yeah.
actually thought it'd all just be like, that's a good film. Like, we're going to put it in.
Nah, they're only going to pay people. They're only going to play movies that people, pay to get their movies shown
That's
there.
really unfortunate, though.
Yeah,
Because
I
then
think-
it's like, unless you've got the money to back it, then how can
Exactly.
you can't enter? And it's
literally.
unfair to an extent. Because, I mean, art should be heard by everyone, right? Like,
For sure.
Your page Deep Blue just messaged us saying, "Woo, how cool are these two?"
there you go.
Oh, bless. Definitely one of the
Bit of self-promotion there. There you go, guys. I don't even have to link the movie anymore.
Oh,
You
no.
can just click on
There
the
we
link
go.
right there in
It's
the
all
chat.
sorted.
It's fine.
What were you saying before?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think those film festivals probably started out like that, and we're just trying to promote the films. But gradually over time, as they grew, they probably
Yeah.
grew into more of like you had to pay to get into them.
It probably would have been one of those things where it's like, wow, like, it's a great film festival and so many applicants, and it's like, how do we do this kind of thing?
Yeah.
But what can you do, I guess, is it's the
it's
way things
difficult.
are. Yeah.
And that's why a lot of, not just the Curtin, but a lot of films do these sort of events in order to raise some money and have that community support that will allow the films to be shown in festivals, or just allow the production so that the crew aren't necessarily out of pocket, which is something
Broke
that
by the end of the film.
Mhm. But yeah, so it's really important to kind of have that support, and it's really amazing that a lot of people have shown our film support even in the pre-production phases. So
Yeah. No,
hopefully this fundraiser will help us out.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll be really good. I actually, as I said, like, I can't wait. I'm
You're
actually
gonna be there.
Yeah.
Is your pilot? You said you filmed a pilot, right? Is it
Yes.
available to the public yet?
I don't know.
It's not at the
So
moment.
no, it's not
No.
available at the moment. We obviously
That would have been just for like a uni thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we are students at Curtin. It's more, we created the pilot to, I guess, show the tutors, but also
Proof of
to have
concept.
the experience of working together as a crew on set, to ensure that you're happy with the tone, the characters, the people you've cast. A lot of the time that can be a problem. So it's more just a test of cooperation and seeing that this script or this story will work in future. So no, it's not really, it's not available anywhere. No.
So when it comes to the pilot, is
Yeah.
it just a scene from the movie, or is it actually like a separate thing that you filmed?
Yeah, well, our pilot was just, I think, the second scene of our
Yeah.
film. But with COVID, it did play a big part on what we could and couldn't film. So a lot of the films had, say, more than 2 characters, probably a whole crowd of people. But obviously with COVID, we weren't allowed to film
Yep.
with that many people. You couldn't be close, like the actors couldn't be in contact with anyone. So
Did that determine the scene that you inevitably chose to film?
thankfully for us,
No.
it didn't. We didn't actually have too many characters within our film, but I
Yeah,
know for
yours
lot
is a
of
more like
films-
drama driven.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So it's more so focused on the one character, and
story.
yeah, so there's quite a lot of scenes where it's just him or just 2 characters, where a couple of the other crews, pretty much all their scenes had like multiple people in it.
Huge
So
groups.
they
I think
would
that's
just,
like overall that's like a trap that a lot of students fall into is like being too ambitious with their films.
I think it's good to be ambitious. I think that it's always rewarding to have a challenge and then rise above that challenge.
Let me give you an example, right? When I was
Yeah, for
doing
sure.
uni, we
Oh,
had a
really?
car
Yeah.
chase. We had a car chase scene in
Oh
our
no.
film.
Mhm.
And that didn't end up playing out, so our movie was like pretty much balked because that was like the big
really?
intense scene, but like
Yeah,
it
for
just
sure.
it plays out like you have to like block off on a whole entire area of like
Yeah.
a
Road
road.
closures.
And you have to notify the police. You have to get approval from the
Council, the whole lot,
council.
yeah.
Yep.
You have to knock on everyone's door along the street and let them know what's going on. And then you can only drive like 40 kilometers or 50 kilometers an hour, and you have to like speed it up or like do like really tight angles and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like that's a trap that a lot of students fall into. Do you guys have any big like scenes? Well, apart from obviously you've got an underwater scene.
Yeah, it's just funny because we were just working in the previous week with another crew. The title of their film is All Good. They'll have a page up soon. Amazing crew. And they had the exact same thing where they had to have a road closure. They
Yeah.
had to have a car driving down and had to follow the certain speed limits, and contacting the council, be given a special key because it's a closed road. You had to have a little lock. And I know another film is also doing like a car crash. And so
Really?
they're working around that, and they've blocked a road as well. So it's all those things where it's so much time and a lot of coordination, but that a lot of people find
And
a
you
way
know what's
around
funny
it.
about this, Alex, that you might not know, is that
Yes.
all of that effort to go to lock the road down is going to be like 30 seconds of the film.
yeah.
Yeah. If
And it's going
that.
to take you all day to film 30 seconds.
Yeah, that
And
makes
then
sense, right?
by the time it's done, you look back at it and you're like, oh, that shot is shocking or whatever, but we can't do it anymore. We only had like fucking 3 hours to close the road down or something like that.
Would there be like a stage though, where it's like, because you know how you're saying like post production and then after production kind of thing,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
it's like once you've filmed everything, you've got it all ready, and then you go to the after production and you're going back through it, and you're like, oh god, I wish we could change that. Does that happen?
A lot of the time that is the case, and it can be gut-wrenching because you look and sometimes there's little thing like continuity errors. So on set you won't notice, but that thing's off in the edit. It's the first thing you notice. But I think it all depends. Hopefully it won't affect us. But one thing that like one difficulty I guess is going to be filming in the ocean,
Yeah,
as
it would be
And
a
the
lot of
cliff
fun
scene
though,
as well.
and the cliff scene as well.
Yeah,
There's a cliff
go
scene.
into that.
yeah.
How big's the cliff?
well,
Oh, so since there's not a lot of cliffs in Perth,
just around.
yeah, it's pretty hard to film a cliff scene. And also you can't exactly put an actor on the edge of a cliff. So
Yeah,
or
that's what I was
hang off
thinking.
the edge of a cliff with a camera. So we kind of have to try and fake it with different camera angles and just try and hide it with like a lot of close-ups or a lot of like lower angles and things like that.
That's still really cool though, to be able to actually like get that whole entire scene, not even from the side of a cliff.
Yeah,
like,
That's
Yeah, so
all-
you just manipulate the camera work basically to make it look like it is a cliff while it might not be.
all just careful shot listing, tests, storyboards, all of which you've been doing to make sure that it looks like a cliff without, you know, putting anyone's life at risk, without damaging any equipment.
would there be a way to like actually edit the person to an, because you know how like with CGI, it's like you can just like CGI a person on the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
But then is there like, how would, I'm trying to get my head around it. So it's like the person would just hang off the side of like maybe the side of a road, but you just tilt the camera to the right, kind of
This
thing.
is more your realm.
Like how would you actually go? Like,
I mean, I don't know too much about the CGI side of it,
Oh,
but
I
I
just-
feel like
yeah.
that'd be it's very specific as well and very intricate process, which I feel like as students it would be pretty hard to make look believable as well.
Yeah.
Because I guess that's a lot of probably green screening and things like that, which
I just mean it even just like trying to get the angles completely perfect. It's like, because so you would have done study prior to that to be able to actually like be able to figure out the right camera angles and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like researching.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
through a lot of
Testing.
experimentation of like different lenses, just different angles, different shots, pretty much.
Yeah, so I'm learning all this, so it's taking it bit by bit, you know.
No, it's good.
Sure, that's good though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think what you're asking,
Mitch,
like,
take the reins.
yeah, okay. Let me try and explain best as I can.
Yeah, to people
CGI
like me.
CGI and like special effects to the level that I think you're thinking about are not really accessible by such a small team. Like,
Because I thought it'd just be as simple as just like putting a green curtain behind you and
Not
then
if you want it to look good.
no, that makes sense.
chroma keying isn't necessarily about a green screen. Like, you don't need a green screen to chroma key. If your actor's wearing green or blue, you want a different color background.
Yeah.
The idea is to pick a color, like, the whole reason it's lime green is because, like, fluoro green, nobody else really wears fluoro green, right? So it's a nice, safe color to put in the background so that you can tell the editing software, this is the color I want to remove from the image.
Yeah.
And a lot of like making it look good comes down to getting your lighting really good, because you want the color to be perfectly green. You don't want to have like bright spots of green and dark spots of green, because then the chroma key won't work as well. But CGI as well is like you need like a team of people working, you know, just to create like a 5 seconds, like a convincing CGI scene. You'd need like a team of like, you know, 5 people working for a month just to create like a 5-10 second clip.
Well, then here's another question for you guys, right? Because the last couple of weeks, Mitch has been up my ass about these lights that are extremely bright. So then, with like filming scenes and stuff, how important is the actual lighting to an extent?
Very important.
Like, you'd have to have like the perfect day, the crisp, like, you know, the sun's out, quickly get the camera out to an extent, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Heavy red.
Yeah.
It's like,
go
here
with
we
that.
go.
I guess it depends whether you're filming. I mean, filming indoors is probably easier to control the lighting, but then
sure.
like outdoors, you probably get a bit more natural lighting at the same time.
I just want to be clear, by the way, Alex, the lighting here is nowhere near perfect. It's literally just 2 lights like pointed at everyone.
They're still they're good lights that we got given, all right? I didn't even pay
Need
for
some
them.
3-point lighting, some backlight.
Oh my gosh. No, but lighting is so important.
Yeah,
It completely influences the visual.
It influences so much, like even just the tone of it. If you have like some sharper shadows, it can definitely like influence the viewer as well. It can say sharper shadows on a character could make them feel more evil, something like that, where softer shadows could just make them feel a bit nicer, I guess. Yeah, and then you just have the times of day, so we're also going to be struggling with the time of day because it is set early morning, before sunrise to sunrise. So we're still
very short bracket of time.
Still trying to experiment with that and lighting in those senses. But yeah, I guess the basic lighting structure is the whole 3-point lighting. And trying to go for like the backlight just separates the character from the background as well.
Yeah.
So that's always a nicer.
So when you're saying 3-point, do you mean like left, right, and then also behind?
So it just kind of depends where you position it. It's more so like on the sides. So you have like a key light, a fill light.
Yeah.
So the key is probably more so the stronger light. You have the fill light that's just kind of brightening the shadows a little bit, and then your backlight aids to separate the character from the background and creates more light around the back.
So it just it helps them stand out then.
Yeah,
kind
pretty
of,
much.
to an
Creates
extent.
more dimension within the image.
Okay.
So.
I'm just thinking about all the films that I've actually seen where it's like, yeah, that actually makes sense. That person was standing out, you know, the background was blurry and it's like the way the lighting was.
Yeah, once you understand it, you can definitely see in films where it's kind of got like a white kind of glow along the back of the character, and it does have.
You get like a
separation.
halo effect.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Halo effect, yeah. I've never heard that term before, but yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, and Tyler was talking before about soft light and hard light. And that's why we diffuse light. Like, I mean, the people can't see it, but I've got a light on me right here, and I've literally just put some baking paper over it.
And so would these be classed
and that's
as hard
create
light
diffusion.
then?
Huh?
Are these classed as hard light? These bloody
These are hard lights because there's no diffusion.
yeah. Okay.
Straight.
Which is why people who are
Straight
looking at
into
the
your
stream
eyes.
right now can see that you guys' faces are like just slightly blown out.
A little bit white.
And it just makes you look like a bit more flat overall if it's just like extreme light just everywhere and you have no shadows, nothing, no backlight. It just makes you like blend into the image, I guess, as well.
Color temperature also can play a huge part, and just the actual color that you choose. Like there are a lot of gels that you can add, which will also change the whole image.
And
And
Yeah.
the
Gel-
type of bulbs that you use,
Yeah.
fluorescent,
Gels are those
halogen.
things that you were harassing me about as well, where it's like those blue and like green screen, like the
The
cellophane
little-
stuff.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Gels, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that is what you're harassing me about. Then.
Yeah. Then you also have like white balance as well within the camera. So you've got like different settings within the camera that kind of contribute to how the lighting is affected.
Yeah.
The
White
camera.
balance. I don't think of how to explain white balance.
Oh, it gets too
Well,
complicated.
Isn't white balance just like when it's like the white and then the yellow kind of thing? It's like the temperature of the light to an extent,
Yeah.
or
it
is that
the
just
temperature of light.
electric
No.
kind of like
It's hard.
terms?
Yeah, no, I see where you're coming from. It's
Yeah.
hard because I'm not entirely sure how to explain it either. It's like you are showing the camera what is.
Well, light is measured in kelvins, and
Mm.
while you can't actually see like the different temperatures of light, the camera does pick that up as well. So you'll get like, I think sunlight is more blue, while you have like indoor light that's more like yellow.
Really?
So like tungsten light is the
Actually,
general.
it's the other way around.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I
But
thought it was
close.
the other way around.
See, I always say it the other way, and then I'm like, no, surely
Yeah.
it's not.
No, literally.
Oh my
Yeah, so
God.
when people say
'Cause then
cooler
it's
lighting, it
tungsten's
means
light.
bluer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then warmer is like more orangey
Yeah,
red.
yellowy,
And so the
yeah.
sun is a more orangey red color, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got warmer lighting from the sun, and then you get cooler
Yeah.
lighting indoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, I don't know if I can, let's see if I can show it on camera.
Oh,
Come on,
here we
Alex.
go. We're gonna get blinded by these bloody things.
We have,
Oh.
that's really cool, and
Yeah.
that's really warm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just bright and it's blue and yellow. That's all it is. So with locations and stuff like that, how was it to find like the specific location? Go, that's the perfect spot. Because like with the ocean as well, are you filming it just like off Scarborough or something like that? Or
Yeah, I mean, there's literally. It sounds silly, but we have like booked a beach.
Really, you've booked a
Because
beach.
you have to.
You kind of have to.
Yeah, you have to contact the council and then have them approve it, and then you're pretty much given a form that says like, yeah, these guys are allowed to use this space. Otherwise, you can be fined. You can be told to leave. Like the whole.
Really?
Yeah, it can be the whole production can be put on hold. But we have an area in Cottesloe in mind for like the manipulation of that cliff per se, and then we also have Medham's Beach, Medham's Pool, through which we're planning to film more of the actual like in the ocean per se.
Okay.
It's in the water.
Mitch, can you pull up Medham's Beach? I've never heard of that
Oh,
place.
really?
No.
It's really
I'm
nice.
from Bustleton, so.
Oh, yeah. That's understandable.
Still learning all these different places and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Dianella.
Oh, cat. But, yeah, a huge thing that we have to
Okay,
keep in
Sass.
mind is...
I know you want to play, but you have to go down.
Meow.
Sorry.
Come here.
Is because we have the actor...
What is it?
obviously-
Medham's?
Medham's... Is it Medham's Pool?
I think it might be Madam's Pool.
I think it's Madam's Pool. I just call it Madam's. A huge thing we have to keep in mind when filming in the ocean is obviously we have two actors and their health, their safety is at risk if we can't really control the ocean. We can't control how big the waves. Hello. We can't control how big
Just
the
let him do
waves
his
are going to
thing, he'll
be.
be alright.
There's Medham's Pool.
That's
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Sassy's
Absolutely
not in
gorgeous
the
beach.
Sassy's not in the way, is he?
No.
Okay, alright.
She's decided to be part of it. But
But-
yeah, just
Oh, yeah, that looks pretty
that's
nice.
really gorgeous.
We're also given restrictions with filming, obviously for health and safety, where we can only film up to waist height
Really?
as well. So yeah, the actors and
Yeah.
everyone can only be waist deep in water. So again, it's more like manipulation of camera shots and that to make it look like it's an actual.
Wow.
The Deep
Yeah.
Blue
I
page
would've-
also said Medham's Pool is a nice, safe, protected surf spot.
There we go.
The editor here. Who's your editor, by the way?
Oh, his name is Max. Well, we have two Maxes on our crew.
Right.
Shout out
His
to
name is-
Max.
3 in our big crew. Yeah, his name is Max. He goes surfing quite a lot, so he knows like which beach is
Yeah.
most safe, I guess, or the most. I mean, best for surfing, but definitely wouldn't equate to best for filming, best safety
'cause
wise.
There were a couple beaches as well that we tested out, and it was just like I was trying to film and I was walking backwards and just constantly just
Ducking.
falling into like sand, like just pits because
Really?
I guess when
Scary.
the waves crash, it just creates that like little ditch. And there was seaweed everywhere as well.
Oh, yeah, it was terrifying.
So you,
Just watch and she'd just go.
yeah, the next thing you know, I'm standing up. So it's hard when you've got the camera and you're just walking backwards, and the next you know, you just fall.
Mhm.
And it'd be
that's why-
scary holding the camera as well. Being
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
oh,
for
nope,
sure.
gotta keep it out of the
you
water.
Yeah.
You sink and you're just
Yeah.
holding the camera up.
That's
so.
why we've also investing in that underwater equipment so that we don't risk damaging anything. Because one little slip, the whole camera can be submerged.
Yeah, and then it goes a
that's
couple of grand
thousands
kind of
dollars.
thing. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And that's also why, because of those sort of tests, we've decided, okay, let's get an underwater cinematographer because it's just too risky.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to be put at that kind of risk. I don't want anyone to be unsafe. And yeah, on those days, yeah, it could be raining, could be really heavy winds. Like, we don't know. It's one of those things where you really aren't sure until either a few days before, but never confirmed until the day of. So we decided, let's get a professional to help us out here, keep everyone a little bit more safe.
Probably a
Peace
smart
of
move.
mind.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Is he working for free?
No. So we are hiring him. However, his service includes obviously him operating the camera, but also the camera, the casing, like
Yep.
all of the equipment that we need is included in his service. So
That's all right. That's
we were
that's
pretty
really
fortunate,
good.
yeah, because we're pretty fortunate that he was willing to help us out since we were obviously students. Like, it's not a big film, so it was really, I felt very fortunate that he gave us that opportunity, and we're going to be able to work with him because his name's Rusty Geller. Yeah, you probably or have you heard of
Nope.
him? Yeah.
It's film industry. I just know music industry.
But yeah, no, he's a very talented underwater cinematographer. So yeah, got pretty lucky.
That's pretty cool though, because then you
Yeah.
get to work with a professional and you get to see how he does everything. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
I
for
could have
sure.
done that, and you know, I'm learning from that and everything. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll be discussing like shots and like just discussing with him what I want and like what the director wants as well, and so he'll be trying to just create those shots. So
With saying that as well, when it comes to actually making the film, like how much decision making actually really goes behind it, and like not squabbling, but you know, being able to actually go like, yeah, this is how we're gonna do it.
Okay.
If you kind of get what I mean. Am I saying
Yeah,
that right?
I think I understand where you're coming from. Do you mean like on the actual days of the shoot, or do you mean
Well, the
just, like,
days
in
of the
general?
shoot, doing the storyboarding, doing the writing, the whole
Right,
the
for
whole lot to an extent. Because like for example, like it's like me and Mitch, you know, we do this and then we squabble and we bicker and we do this and do that. But at the end of the day, we're just like, yeah, we'll still get up and just do the podcast and have fun, kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
But then with like creating a film, you've got like 4, 5, 6 people involved, like more people involved with creating the actual film. Is there any point where it's like, oh no, we should do it this way, and it's like, no, it'd be better that way, or it'd be better this way, like.
There's no tension. Right?
There's definitely
tension?
always tension, but
Yeah.
like everything is kind of, I guess, arranged beforehand. So if anything does happen, you kind of organize it beforehand, and you do have to compromise with some things. You're not always going to get what you want.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess everything's just about communication and compromise by the end of it. But by the time you get to production, you should have everything planned out, and everyone should be,
Yeah,
I mean, whether
like-
or not you're happy with it, whether or not it's what you wanted, it's kind of more of like, yeah, I guess a group decision. I guess more so director decision as well. So
Yeah, maybe you can explain like the hierarchy of the
Yeah,
film
because
set.
I've always been lost with like director. I always thought it's like the producer's just the person that throws the money at the film. Like, that's what I always thought. Like, but go
yeah.
on.
It can be.
So first, we are obviously, there's a script. The script writer for us is separate to the director. So our script writer though is actually on our crew just by coincidence. He is our first AD, which is the first assistant director. But once we have the script, the director obviously works on the vision and is really crucial in, how do I put it? It's really crucial in like working with the actors.
Yeah, he works with the actors and kind of oversees the whole film, so make
Right.
sure that each role is kind of sticking to that same kind of tone and same everything, because everyone's kind of working individually in their role, but then also working with the director to create that vision. So yeah, I guess the director just like oversees all of it to make sure it's all flowing properly and connecting.
Yeah, and then the
So-
director works with the producer so to have everything that is going to happen on the day arranged pretty much. So
Yeah.
the producer, it's really important for the producer to be very good at communicating, but also really good at organizing and coordinating things, because ultimately on that shoot day, you'll have a little checklist of all these things that you should have had done before that day to ensure that that day goes smoothly. So little things like location, any councils you have to secure. You work with the director to do casting and auditions and get the actors all chosen and
You're
ready
essentially
to go.
the one doing all the legwork, basically.
Yeah.
You tell the producer what you want, and they get it. They make sure it happens.
Yeah.
I actually had no idea. I always thought the producer's the guy that sits in the chair and is like, action.
That's the director, no.
See, there you go.
So the way I understand it is the director is in charge of getting a good performance from the actors.
Yes.
And the
Well, it
director
kinda
of
makes sense
photography
though, right?
is in
'Cause-
charge of working with the director to achieve the look that the director wants for the movie.
Because then director directing and, you know, direction and blah,
Yep.
blah, blah. But then producer producing. Yeah, so that makes a lot of
Producer
sense.
just facilitates the overall running of everything,
Just like
basically.
clicked over my head and oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
It's actually quite surprising how involved the director is with the actors as well, because I guess you say directing the actors, but it's not just like putting an actor there and being like, oh yeah, just act happy, just act sad. It's like you have to tell them like what kind of happiness do you want, what kind of sadness, and you
Yeah.
have to tell them how to feel as
Yeah,
well.
like
and
the emotion
how,
behind
yeah,
it kind of
pretty
thing.
much. So
Yeah.
it's not, there's a lot of work that the directors have to do with the actors to create the best performance for
Yeah.
that. So
As you were saying with like the visuals, the director works really closely with the DOP
yeah.
to ensure that this visual is achieved.
Yeah.
You can,
Because I
go
guess
more into
the
it.
script, the script is just written. So when you're wanting to create, obviously, a film, then you have to turn the written piece into visuals. So that's where like the DOP comes in, and you work together with the director to make that happen. So the DOP works with like the lighting, the camera angles, pretty much anything to do with the camera crew and the lighting crew. That's what the DOP or director of photography covers.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's pretty involved. And
Yeah, like, that's really
I was
cool.
once working with a female director. I was on a shoot for a music video, and the
Wait.
artist, the lead singer of the
You were-
was not an actor.
You were in the shoot for a music video.
Yeah. I wasn't in the shoot. I was the director of photography for the shoot.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
nice.
We should make a music video sometime.
Maybe.
Yes.
I've
You
made
and
quite
me.
a few in my
We'll go
time.
places. Yeah.
But she was very worried about, because the performance had to be like, she was crying, she had to be upset and depressed and all that kind of stuff. And she was, you know, a very happy, bubbly, go lucky kind of, which is weird why she was creating a song that was so depressing. But anyway, it called for her to be like really crying and being really depressed. And the director took her away for 10 minutes from everybody, took her back to the car, sat in the car with her. I don't know what happened, but 10 minutes later she came out, she was sobbing and crying. The director had somehow in 10 minutes turned her from being like happy and bubbly to like exactly what she needed to be to perform that shot.
Sounds
So
traumatizing.
that's essentially the director's job, is to
Yeah.
to get those emotions from the actors. Yeah.
It just sounds like you took it to the car for verbal abuse to an extent.
I don't know what happened. All I know is that we got a great performance out of that.
Did he, like, before he left, he just turned the radio up really loud?
Who knows?
Wow, though.
Yeah.
But that does make sense to an extent as well. It's like, if you're going to be filming Batman, it's like, no, you're supposed to be Batman. You're supposed to be scary. Be more scary,
Yeah,
kind of
for
thing.
sure.
But you have to bring that out of the actor and get the actual actor to fall into that place then. With actually, like, not hiring the actors, but like doing the auditions. How did you go through many auditions, or did you kind of just get a group at all?
Yeah, so we
Because
primarily-
with uni, because then it's like,
Yeah.
were you guys appointed a group to start off with?
Okay, yeah.
Or-
So we are encouraged to contact like agencies or like representatives of actors. So we mainly there's this lady
That's
called
really
Ali
cool.
who's Actors MI, and we pretty much all of the Curtin students hit up Ali, and then she is like the manager and the head of like all of these amazing talented actors, and they then contact us if they are interested in the script that we have given, and then we can kind of move forward into arranging when to audition, how to audition, working with the director and kind of seeing how he or she wants to run the process, because they want to you know, see what this actor can do and make sure that they are happy with the portrayal or how they interpret the character. And so this can be done. I know a girl who auditioned like 50 people for one role, so it really depends on how many people express interest, but also how many people you were interested in auditioning when given a headshot, when given acting, a performance reel, like a CV. So yeah, it's a whole
so
process
it is one of
beforehand.
those situations, like,
Yeah.
is it one of those situations where they'll kind of like, you know, come in and then it's like you have to read a certain amount of lines and then kind of
Yeah,
like,
so everyone does it differently. We pretty
'Cause
much
with-
chose the scene, had them perform. The director gave some feedback, went through it again, and then had the discussion with them about the character and like had them do an improv with the director to see how they would interpret how that character would be in that situation. But yeah, it's really different with everyone. It totally depends on how the director wants to take it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
But with COVID, did that change any of the like the standard ways you would normally approach that at all?
Not so much with us because we were fortunate that
Yeah, like to be after kind of, right? Well, not
not
after,
necessarily.
but yeah.
It was more that each audition just required the one actor to
Yeah.
come in. So we just ensured that, you know, there was a physical distance maintained. We had hand sanitizer, all of that to, you know, the normal
Yeah.
protocols,
Yep, yep.
except no, thankfully we weren't too affected, but I do know, yeah, a few people, because this is around the time of the pilots. So a few people in those auditions, if they wanted to see a chemistry test between two different actors, you know, they couldn't have any physical contact. There had to be that distance, and then that, yeah, it was all really, really new and something that a lot of people had to adapt to. But yeah, we were pretty fortunate.
Do you want to explain the chemistry test as well?
Chemistry
Yeah,
test.
sure. So
Chemistry test?
Yeah, with a question
Yeah.
mark.
So chemistry tests, well, from our understanding, is when you have certain actors and you want to see how they perform with another actor who would hypothetically be cast in a different role. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. You can jump in if they're unclear. So, for example, let's say there's like a mother and a son. So if you have two characters that you really like individually, you'll put them in the room, have them perform for each role, except see how they work and see if that chemistry could portray the performance on screen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if it's very clear, like there's no chemistry there, no connection,
Yeah, then they
obviously
just
that
won't
won't
work.
translate
Yeah.
onto screen. Yeah.
That makes so much sense though with like romance films and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Because it's like,
definitely.
do they connect? Does it look real, or does it
For
just
sure.
look like they're
It's
just
just
there?
not just romance films too, but
Oh, it's everything. Yeah.
yeah, like a lot of actors are like have to pretend that like they saw the actor's their spouse or their
Yeah.
kid or their child or their grandma or someone they really hate but they might actually really like them and stuff like that, and you've got to test that chemistry out.
Yeah.
Because they could both be incredible, like amazingly talented actors, but they just may not work together. And that chemistry might not be there. And sometimes you do have to sacrifice an amazing actor in order to gain that chemistry. But ultimately, it's whatever works best and whatever will make the best film.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's exactly it.
that's
to
why
an
those
extent.
are so important. Yeah.
And that's what that would kind of suck though, because then it's like if you have to let an actor go, and it's like you're so good, but it just doesn't work. and
Yeah,
it's-
it's tough. It hurts having to. Sometimes you'll just get so many incredible actors and then you can only pick one. And so it's a huge process in working with the director and seeing ultimately who they feel is
Yeah.
most appropriate for the
Would
role.
it usually be up to the director to just be like, you know what, like this actor's not doing up to scratch, blah blah blah, and then it's like them they would be the first one to kind of like flag it in a way and to
I'd-
discuss it to an extent.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is your round. I'm glad I just have,
You're like,
whoever
"Sarah?"
they pick, I just have to film. So
Yeah, it's
I'm
not-
not involved.
Easy
on that
roll.
side, yeah.
Well, at least with the student films, normally it's the director and the producer who are doing the casting or auditionings. And to be honest, it's really up to the director because it's ultimately they are going to have to work with this person and it's who they feel will best portray the character and who they feel they'll get the best performance out of. So, you know, the producer may be like, oh, this person, but ultimately you kind of respect that it is the director's choice and you can talk to them and you can communicate and work together to come to, you know, a conclusion. But the director feels that this person is the best, you trust them because
Yeah.
yeah, they're the ones who will get that performance. You kind of are just being the one who has to send the bad emails after being like, I'm really sorry.
So it wasn't my fault. It was his fault.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Are you writing me
Someone
messages, Mitch?
Yes, maybe.
Maybe. Yes, maybe. Well, these are we've got guests on. We have a secret squirrel shit going on.
Well, you weren't supposed to bring it up.
No,
I was writing you a message. That's why I was writing you a message and not saying it on the screen.
You telling me that we'll do this for 60 minutes? No, let's
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
I'll leave it to you then.
All right. Let's just So, I had a train of thought. Well,
Sorry, I ruined your train
yeah,
of thought.
you ruined my train.
This is all my fault, guys.
No, but to be fair, me and Mitch have had a very big weekend. I
Yeah.
was working a lot on the weekend, and you were doing a lot of partying on the weekend, Mitch.
Well, that's misinterpreting it a little bit because I set the party up, which
yeah.
took a whole week to plan and to put together, the lighting system,
the whole lot, the
and
whole setup.
the visuals.
Sorry, girls, just quickly.
So we're just having a little argument.
It's not even an argument.
We're having our own
bickering.
Domestic.
Yeah.
Literally.
We were literally just talking about having arguments like over creative stuff.
One thing I have to ask though as well, because like I was saying, I think before, or maybe in the first 5-10 minutes of this, like I'm an advocate for 60s, 70s, 80s film, because I just feel like back then it was more theatre than entertainment to an extent, and I really feel like the way the movies have changed these days, bloody Avengers and all the Marvel films, and it's just filling a quota to be able to make sure it's just it's not so much that it is PC, but it's also just to be able to make sure it fits the largest demographic possible to an extent. Would you guys believe that to an extent that, it's not so much theatre anymore, it's more entertainment? And would that kind of correlate with the film that you guys are going to be filming soon to an extent? It's a big question, isn't it?
I do think that.
Sorry for the big question.
No. Obviously, in the more recent years, there have been so many sequels or so many prequels because people know what's going to sell, what's going to work. So in a sense that I see where you're coming from, and like the Marvel films, for example, obviously they're great. I'm not gonna
but they've made 9 of them or something
but
like that.
They have that universe but then some people can look at that as they've created this universe where the fans feel like they have a loyal I don't know how to put it,
following to an extent.
but I do understand what
Similar sort of argument to Lord of the Rings or Star Wars.
Yeah,
but I don't want to
for
I don't want to make it just about those things, because with Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, they're 3 films, they're 6 films, they're 9 films, they're so big. But what I'm getting at is they just make the new Will Smith film Arrival or whatever it is, and it's just not great. But then you have good films like Interstellar, but Interstellar is just shot so great. It's
it's
the whole movie
Absolutely
is just it takes you on a ride.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to find good films like that will take you on an experience in a way. But then I
think my opinion is there's still good movies out there. They just don't end up in cinemas nowadays.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that cinemas are struggling. And they need a guarantee that people are going to come through the door.
Well, they're not just struggling. Did you guys know that Disney has started buying up most cinemas in America at the moment?
No.
Over this year and at the end of last year.
Is it Disney or is it
Disney.
Tencent?
No, you might have to Google this.
I'm pretty sure Tencent owns AMC, which is the largest cinema chain in America.
No, but I Google it because I'm pretty sure Disney has started buying them up. Because it's not business, it's business kind of thing.
Yeah, they own a lot. There's so much stuff that you don't even think Disney would
Have you guys ever seen the Alien and Predator films at all? The old school movies?
I think I've seen one.
So the old school Alien films, right? They were proper horror. They were just great for their time.
IGN says that Disney can't own theatre chains because the American government's blocked them because of monopoly reasons.
Ah, that makes so much sense. But okay, misinformation. My bad.
The source for that is IGN.
Yeah, but IGN, I don't even like IGN. I don't think a lot of people don't like
Doesn't
IGN.
mean it's not true.
Yeah, international game news, my ass. But I have to say though, it's just Disney has bought up Alien franchise. So the next movie they're going to make is not going to be a horror film. It's going to be a Mickey Mouse film.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had no idea.
But that's what I mean though. It's you have these big corporations that are buying up basically money makers to an extent, like Star Wars. Yeah. And it's it seems like it's a bit of a grim future for the film industry at the moment to an extent.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree? Disagree?
Yeah, it does feel like it tends to be more of like they're just trying to milk things that work, I guess, and just
Yeah.
try and drag it out and get more out of it, get more, I guess, bang for the buck. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, yeah, just try and string it along for as long as they can, just to make money out of it.
Yeah.
But I guess it's also up to the viewers as well to seek out those films that aren't just like part of a franchise.
Yeah.
Or part of that kind.
There
of
is a big
industry.
following in Perth for independent films,
Yes.
especially in like the Fremantle area and stuff like that.
Freo. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that that following isn't necessarily as big as, you know, the people who do seek out those sequels, those prequels, the franchises, because yeah, it's hard, because I understand in a sense why those are the most popular films. I understand why those is like, that's the kind of realm cinema is going, and also because yeah, it is struggling in a sense, but also
It's just commercialism to an
yeah.
extent. And
We've had a good question, sorry, Alex,
Oh.
from the comment.
Oh.
Who?
Revanth, do you know Revanth?
Yeah.
Revanth
Yeah.
Goley?
Shout
Sorry
out
if I'm
to
butchering your name, bro.
shout out to Revanth Bowley.
So,
I hope I'm not butchering your
They
name.
ask, so what's your motivation for getting into the film industry?
That is a good question.
I guess from a young age, I just loved filming and loved the camera. Whether it was photography or anything, I just loved just documenting and capturing anything I could. And then,
Have you been making films for a while now?
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say film specific, more
Just
like
videos,
just
yeah.
video
Yeah.
from when I was like really young. But then I also
Do you have a
studied
YouTube channel?
No,
You do, don't you?
But yeah, I guess I also studied it throughout high school as well for like 5 or 6 years. So we made films, 2 or 3 films a year in high school as well, and then just did some small things outside of school. I don't know, I just always had a passion for it. And for some reason, even as like a little kid, I'd see my dad just editing like little just birthday videos, and for some reason it would get me so excited, and I was like, I want to do that. And then I'd see like someone else just editing and filming like other videos, and it just kind of kept on progressing from there. And I was like, it just looks so amazing. And then once you start looking into like the technical side of it, there's just so much more to learn, and so much people don't know about from just watching a film. Like you watch like a 10, they're like with ours, it's a 10-minute film, but it's taking us a whole year to produce.
That's
And
it, yeah.
then you go into like the different roles and all the technical sides of it, and it's just so interesting, like how many different things there are.
But
that
it's
you
the
don't
same
actually
thing on the
know
music
watching.
industry as well. When I first started out, it's just choosing CDs in the back of my parents' car and be like, I want to listen to Tina Turner. But
Yeah.
now it's like, okay.
It's the same for every creative industry.
Yeah, exactly. It's art to an extent. It's entertainment. It's the whole process behind of actually being able to captivate an audience and go make them go, that's good. I want to watch that again. Because it's like what we were saying before with the whole commercialism of movies. There are so many movies out there that don't have rewatchability. You're like, you watch them once, you're like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, it was good. It's just I can't. What was
Mortal
that?
Engines?
No,
Sorry.
I didn't mind that because of the Australian actor, Mr. Smith, Agent Smith in it.
What, Mortal Reminders?
Mortal Engines.
Mortal Engines? Is it Mortal Reminder or Mortal Engines?
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm thinking of the League of Legends rock band, Mortal Reminder.
I thought you were talking about Mortal Engines, the Peter Jackson
I was mixing the
film.
two up, yeah.
Yeah, but the Peter Jackson film, Mortal Engines, where it's like London's on wheels and it can drive around.
Yeah, garbage.
Oh my god.
No, it's a good film. It's an interesting film.
Okay, let's
Lots
ask
of
the film
CGI.
students. What did you think? Have you guys seen Mortal Engines?
No.
No?
I recommend it.
Okay. I'll
I
note
don't.
that. Uh-huh.
Yeah, there you go. He
Look
doesn't.
it up.
Oh, maybe I do recommend it as a way, like, don't do that thing.
Gotcha.
Don't make Mortal. I mean, it's like, it's what you'd expect. Like, they pumped so much money into it. It's just, like, extravagantly amazing to look at. But
Yeah.
in terms of, like, they're taking literally... like a Lord of the Rings level book trilogy and condensing it down into a movie.
Oh,
and
That's what I felt
it's
like.
just too much going
Too
on.
much. Uh-huh, for
And
sure.
like a lot of the characters don't get enough time, so you can't like connect with them and stuff like
They
that.
should have
so-
made a sequel and all sorts of stuff, but yeah, it wasn't.
Well, that was the plan, was to turn it into like this huge trilogy.
Yeah.
But
Oh, really?
it tanked so hard the first movie that they were just like...
Oh no.
And they
Yeah.
marketed it, and this was the funny thing, is they marketed it as directed by Peter Jackson. It's not directed by Peter Jackson.
No shit.
No. He's one of the
Really?
producers on the movie, but apparently he was very hands off. And they were
Really?
just like marketing it as like he's attached to the
It's
movie.
the only reason why I
Name
watched
sell.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that name.
100%.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Tim Burton. Or,
That
like,
they knew
all
that
those
movie was
names.
bad before they released it, so they were like, "Well, we're gonna have to push it out the marketing with Peter Jackson's name on it to get anyone to come and buy tickets," which I did because I'm a big fan of Peter Jackson. And then I watched the movie and I was like, "This is not a Peter Jackson film," and it
Yeah,
wasn't.
for sure.
He's
Would've been a
just some of the
letdown.
money, basically.
But you said a very interesting thing just then, like with Tim Burton. So would you say that with films, to an extent, it's like it can come down to just like a name? You know,
100%.
it's a Steven Spielberg film. It's going to be good, and then
Yeah.
you watch what is it like the latest Indiana Jones film? You're like, what did they do to my boy?
Well, yeah, as you just said, like you bought tickets because you saw the name.
Yeah.
And you were like, this is going to be good because you have that idea of what their films are like.
Mm.
So, yeah, 100%. Actors, directors, like names do sell.
Yeah.
It's just,
And that's so just like what we were saying before, like Indiana Jones, I literally get excited to go watch it. It's just Harrison Ford, and it's like, aliens? What the hell is this? Like,
You're like, wait,
this is
what?
not Indiana Jones. Like,
It's Indiana Jones with aliens.
it was like, George Lucas, what are you doing? Like, fix it. And he didn't fix it. And apparently they're making another one in the next 3 years. It's going to be Indiana Jones Jr.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're milking it, right? It's like, what?
Yeah.
Why? Just make.
They're making another all-females Ghostbusters as well.
Are they
We know
actually?
how well that went the first time around.
fantastic.
But
I
it
didn't
is
watch
about
it.
equality to an
No, I
extent.
haven't seen it.
I would say.
Well, the only reason the movie did poor, well, I mean, it was a bad movie, but it did even more poorly because they were trying to push an idea on people that people weren't ready to accept yet, I guess.
No, it's not being ready to
okay.
accept, but it's just time.
Well,
I
the
guess.
idea was it was an all-males cast, so we should do an all-females cast to make
I
it
know, but
balanced.
it was the
but
80s,
Yeah,
though.
Yeah.
It's like, don't make a Ghostbusters movie, or at least make a Ghostbusters movies that is maybe set in the same universe but involves like a different city. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is Ghostbusters, like
3.0.
Europe version or something like that,
Yeah.
and they're all female. Like that, I can
Right.
get. But like, they were just
Right.
pushing for this idea as like their
Gender
frontline thing, and people
Gender
were just were not having it. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when we're talking about Tim Burton and stuff like that, what would you say? What would you say that you like your favorite genres for film to an extent? Sorry, I've had a little bit of wine.
Wait up.
Wait up. Wait, what? We're offline.
Oh no.
Oh, shit.
I've lost Wi-Fi as well.
Does that mean your internet's just gone down?
Don't tell me that. We were having a great episode.
Forgot that cat.
No, it's so
He was
cute.
just hanging. He was just
Oh,
hanging.
he's-
Hello.
It says connected, no internet access. And yikes.
Shit.
This is literally the first time this has ever happened.
Yeah.
Really?
In 42 episodes, yeah.
Shit.
So we can wait a few minutes for it to kick back in. Do you want to go
In
turn your router off and
hotspot?
on again, and we can finish off the last like 20 minutes of the podcast?
That'd be just-
Just give it a second. It might just jump back in. If it doesn't, no, I'm gonna go. I'll quickly go.
I can hotspot my phone.
Yeah, I can ask.
We don't have Wi-Fi on here. So you just reset your router.
Psychological.
Yeah,
Oh, we don't
psychological
talk
horror.
thrillers,
Psychological.
definitely.